The Five Stages of Grief by Elisabeth Kubler-Ross originally was written, well, she studied people who were dying and those that had lost loved ones, and she came up with these 5 stages. I'll show you a picture. And really, those 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And what happened is people started to misuse these stages. They started to teach them in a way that meant they were linear and that you must do each one to overcome and become healed, when the reality was that that was not true. That's not why she wrote it, and that's not what the purpose of these stages really were. I recently read a book by her. Let's see if you can see that, on grief and grieving, finding the meaning of grief through the 5 stages of loss. She wrote it, and David Kessler was also an author on that book. I'll link the book below. It's extremely good. But she opens it by saying this: the stages have evolved since their introduction, and they have been very misunderstood over the past 3 decades. They were never meant to help tuck messy emotions into neat packages. They are responses to loss that many people have. But there is not a typical response to loss, as there is no typical loss. Our grief is as individual as our lives. They are tools to help us frame and identify what we may be feeling, but they are not stops on some linear timeline in grief. Not everyone goes through all of them or goes in a prescribed order. And I think she was kind of looking at this idea of it being a lot more messy than people had been teaching it. So everyone was teaching this, like I said, linear process, and it really is more of this messy idea. I'll show you a pictorial representation of that taken from a website, and I'll link the website below as well. I think this representation, or this graphical picture of what the 5 stages really looks like, is more accurate. See, people experience grief in amazingly unique ways. And so if you're not experiencing it like someone else, it doesn't mean you're wrong, and it doesn't mean they're wrong. It simply means that you are in this process of healing, and your process looks different than someone else's. There is no time block on you have to be in denial for this long, and it's not like that. You can be in these stages over time for the rest of your life in varying layers, even. Again, the 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And we're going to be looking at each one of these ideas individually in this series. You can take this link and find all the rest of these videos where we'll be unpacking each one of those stages and helping you determine where you are in those stages, and giving you practical applications and things to think about when it comes to your process of the 5 stages of grief. My name's Ryan, and my desire is to help people stand tall after divorce. If that's something you're into, please give me a subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos that I'll be posting. I hope you have a great day, and I'd love to connect.